All right, welcome to another Powerplant podcast. Today I want to talk about being vegan and how it's 24/7. So I remember when I sort of, let's say made the connection and started implementing a different diet into my life, and how much it was a big change. It was a big change. I used to eat lots of dairy. I never used to think about the impact of a lot of my choices, especially when it came to food, but in general in other parts of life. Now I think about every choice all the time, and perhaps, overthink, if you can do that. I don't know if you can, but when you think about your choices all the time, it just it changes who you are. So I think this is really common with a lot of people who, make the connection and choose to eat plants. They think about things like all the time. I think about things 24/7. It is always on my mind. It's completely changed my life. I remember when I remember I decided I wanted to do my big bike ride around the world. I wanted to ride. I decided when I was halfway through my gap year that this is something that I wanted to do sometime, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to start uni then defer, or something working it around university, or finish university first and then go on the bike trip. Anyway, halfway through the last year of university in 2014, I still hadn't gone on the bike trip. I was going to finish university. I decided to, go vegan. I had to go vegan. It's not really a decision. It's just a connection you just make. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I'm making this choice. Is this going to impact my ride? And I was a bit worried. I was like, well, I was sort of just planning on eating whatever, which is pretty much what I'd ate up until that point. And then I was like, well, think of all the milk products and how expensive it's going to be without having like the cheap foods that are supplemented with like milk powder in them, like biscuits and skim milk powder. I was like, do they have soy milk powder? Do they even have that? I don't even know. They do, but it's completely unnecessary. You just change your diet. Saying you just change your diet, it's hard for people, but you get used to new things and you grow to like these new things more because they're usually better for your body if it's a whole food. So that's just what I did. I mean, my diet was not good when I was riding in terms of health, but it certainly had a lot of calories. There was a lot of couscous, a lot of pastas, and I'm talking just couscous and just pasta with no topping, because I'm a frugal man, and I need to see value in something if I buy it. So I know I'm too frugal in that, sometimes your body might need things, or you can just... I can never allow myself to just have something for taste or for pleasure's sake. But, there were sultanas on the oats, and there was sugar with the oats, but there wasn't medjool sticky dates to fuel me up halfway through the rides or something like that. There was enough fruit, because I can cut, I can draw the line somewhere, and I can still pay for fruit, even when a starchy diet might be cheaper. Sometimes it's good to get the fruit in as well. So it turned out to be no problem in the end, riding and eating just plants. In fact, it was cheaper just eating plants. I mean, if I'd chosen to continue eating meat, then I would have been like, well, I need to, I would have justified and worked my way around putting meat into the diet, even though it would have been more expensive. Well, I would have still continued to have thought, oh, I need to eat meat, so I need to buy some chicken or whatever the cheapest cut of meat is from the supermarket, and then find a way to cook it. I did have a stove, but it's a lot easier when you use couscous and all you have to do is put water into it. There are ways around everything. It's not a big deal once you figure out how to read labels and understand what food is. So, thinking about vegan 24/7, thinking about the choices you make 24/7 and trying to choose the best things can have a heavy weight on your mind. And I've definitely changed as a person, and it's made me see other people differently. and the actions of other people, I think about their consequences a lot as well. I still do things that are wrong, but perhaps you don't realize it, or perhaps if your morals change, you might think, oh, this is a more ethical decision, even though other people might see it as wrong. So, I don't know. Yeah, 24/7. But at the same time, it just means you're switched on. You're aware. It's got to be 24/7. Because how many people think about food, for like 60% of the day or something? People think about food a lot. You mightn't realize it, but if you're overweight, you'll be thinking about food more than the normal person. If you're underweight, you'll be thinking about food more than a normal person. If you're ripped, you're probably thinking about food more than a normal person. It's just a big part of human and animal life, So, that's how it is with vegan, with being planting seeds in the brains, everyone around the world. Chinese teacher said to me today, do you want some? This is my breakfast, it's like a sausage. I was like, yeah, that's a dead animal. I just said it to her, that's a dead animal. And she's like, I was like, it's a dead animal. She's like, I was like, that's a dead animal. It's like, people are fucking disconnected. You tell them exactly what it is, and they either can't take the realism, so they just do some weird shit that is some sort of defensive mechanism, or they attack you. That didn't happen in that occasion. So there we are. Are you vegan 24/7 in your mind? Are you always thinking about it? Walking down the street thinking, why has that car got one person in it? Why can't you just ride your bike? See, those are the things that sort of get to me a bit. People just drive their cars everywhere. It's like, I understand it's more convenient, but you could just ride a bike and it would be better for you, and you wouldn't be using up all these resources, and that influences everyone. When you use up resources, it influences everyone. I really think that there should be taxes, or it should be more expensive to do those kind of things. I mean, even if it's like wasting time on a computer, if you spend hours on YouTube every day, then you're wasting time. And I think it's not that people should be punished for it. I think they should just be made to pay more. And then people would probably be more effective with their time. They'd be more efficient with their time. They go read a book, or they go do some sort of study instead of wasting time, and educate themselves. So everything has consequences to it. Catch you later. Thanks for listening. Peace.